Hello, fellow gardeners. Welcome back to Smart Garden, where we're all about growing more with less effort. Whether you're just starting your gardening journey or you've been tending plants for decades, I'm thrilled to share something truly special with you today. Imagine waking up to a garden bursting with life, producing more than you ever thought possible, all with a fraction of the work you're used to. This isn't fantasy, it's the reality that ancient gardeners understood so well. Today we're unveiling 5 time-tested, practically effortless soil secrets that will supercharge your garden and free up your precious time. These aren't complicated techniques requiring expensive equipment or endless hours of labor. Instead, they're simple, natural methods that work with nature rather than against it. Here's something you've probably heard 1,000 times: the best gardens come from the hardest workers. We've been conditioned to believe that aching backs and endless hours of toil are the price of a bountiful harvest. But, what if I told you this is one of the biggest misconceptions in gardening? The truth that ancient gardeners practiced for centuries is elegantly simple: less effort, more yield. The secret isn't in working harder. It's in understanding soil as a living ecosystem that can do most of the heavy lifting for you. You know, nature has been creating abundant soil in forests and prairies for millennia, without any human intervention. Ancient gardeners, well, they observed these natural processes and actually replicated them in their own gardens, through practical wisdom and, a whole lot of patient observation. The 5 effortless soil secrets we're about to explore are, honestly, just methods of building rich, abundant soil by mimicking the natural processes found in a healthy forest ecosystem. These principles, they really center on fostering a thriving underground microbial network and, basically, letting nature do the heavy lifting for you. So, let's start with the first and, honestly, most transformative secret: persistent mulching. If you only take one thing from this guide, let it be this. Mulching is the practice of covering your soil surface with organic matter, and, it's really the foundation of building healthy soil. Traditional gardening taught us to dig and turn the soil, but what this actually does is harm your soil's natural structure. Every time you dig, you're disrupting the delicate network of organisms and breaking apart soil aggregates that took years to form. Ancient gardeners knew better. They understood that in nature the forest floor is never bare. It's continuously covered with leaves, twigs, and organic matter in various stages of decomposition. They covered their garden beds with thick layers of organic mulch like shredded leaves, wood chips, or straw. This simple layer performs multiple miracles simultaneously. It suppresses weeds by blocking sunlight, retains moisture so you water less frequently, and gradually breaks down to feed the soil's entire ecosystem. The mulch also protects the soil from harsh rain and drying sun. Beneath that mulch layer, microbes and earthworms thrive. They colonize the mulch, break it down into rich humus, and continuously deposit this treasure into your soil. By covering the soil, you eliminate constant weeding and frequent watering. Over time, your soil becomes darker, crumbly, and incredibly fertile, and you've done a fraction of the work traditional gardeners spend on maintenance. Now let's talk about composting, but not the complicated bins you see advertised everywhere. Forget rotating drums and endless turning. Ancient composting methods were far more efficient and required virtually no effort. The secret is simple: compost directly in your garden beds. Now let's talk about composting, but not the complicated bins you see advertised everywhere. Forget rotating drums and endless turning. Ancient composting methods were far more efficient and required virtually no effort. The secret is simple: compost directly in your garden beds. Those kitchen scraps and garden waste don't need to be processed in a separate location. Instead, bury them directly in your garden bed or add them under your mulch layer. This in-place composting cuts out all the labor of managing a traditional pile. No turning, no monitoring, no fighting with rodents. You see, the soil's microorganisms are hard at work, decomposing the material and transforming it into nutrients that your plant's roots can access directly. What makes this method so incredibly powerful is that decomposition happens exactly where your plants need it most. Isn't that fascinating? Your food scraps, believe it or not, unlock an incredible transformation in your soil, creating nutrient-dense earth that feeds your plants continuously. Over time, this practice builds soil so rich and alive that you'll find yourself buying far less fertilizer, or maybe even none at all. The abundance this simple method creates is truly remarkable, and it requires virtually no effort. Amazing, right? Now, one of the biggest mistakes gardeners make is leaving soil bare during the off-season. Between planting cycles, many of us see an empty bed as just that, emptiness. But ancient gardeners, they saw a missed opportunity. Quite insightful, don't you think? Cover crops are plants grown specifically to protect and enrich soil when your main crops aren't being grown, and they're among the most powerful abundance builders in your arsenal. By planting cover crops like clover, legumes, hairy vetch, or winter rye, you prevent soil erosion that robs you of precious topsoil. These plants do far more than sit there, they actively work for you. Legumes have a remarkable ability to fix atmospheric nitrogen into the soil, acting as a natural free fertilizer. Once the cover crop completes its mission, simply chop and drop it, cut it down, and leave it as nutrient-rich mulch for your next planting. This creates a seamless cycle of abundance with minimal effort. Once the cover crop completes its mission, simply chop and drop it, just cut it down and leave it as nutrient-rich mulch for your next planting. This creates a seamless cycle of abundance with minimal effort. Your soil becomes progressively richer each season, weed pressure decreases, and you've harnessed the power of plants to build your fertility for you. Beneath your feet exists one of nature's most complex networks, the soil food web. This underground ecosystem consists of bacteria, fungi, and earthworms, all working in concert to create fertile soil. Yet most traditional gardening practices systematically destroy this network. Every time you till deeply into your soil, you're actually breaking apart fungal networks and disrupting bacterial communities. Ancient gardeners understood this, Disturb the soil as little as possible. In a forest, soil is never overturned. It's built layer by layer, and that undisturbed structure makes it so fertile and resilient. By minimizing soil disturbance in your garden, you really allow this underground network to thrive and maintain naturally aerated soil. The fungi form networks extending far beyond individual plants, helping them exchange nutrients and water. No-till gardening reduces backbreaking labor. It simply becomes unnecessary when your soil is healthy. Over time, your soil becomes richer in organic matter, requiring less intervention to produce abundant growth. You're working with nature's design rather than constantly fighting against it. So, the final and most important secret is really a shift in mindset. Healthy soil, it actually speaks to you, and ancient wisdom was all about knowing how to listen. This secret is more about observation rather than intervention, and it's about patience rather than constant management. Instead of, forcing solutions, you learn to read what your soil is telling you. Healthy living soil, it exhibits unmistakable characteristics. It has a dark, crumbly structure that just feels alive in your hands. You'll notice earthworm activity, and the soil smells wonderful, almost like a fresh forest floor. These aren't just random qualities, they're indicators of a thriving ecosystem. When you focus on these signals, you actually stop making constant decisions and start responding to what nature is telling you. This approach, it really reduces the need for external fertilizers and constant problem solving. Your soil becomes a self-managing ecosystem that efficiently delivers exactly what your plants need. It buffers against drought and suppresses diseases. You've moved from managing individual plants to nurturing an entire ecosystem, resulting in less work and a far more resilient garden. It buffers against drought and suppresses diseases. You've moved from managing individual plants to nurturing an entire ecosystem, resulting in less work and a far more resilient garden. You now possess the 5 soil secrets that have created abundant gardens for generations. These aren't complicated techniques requiring specialized knowledge. They're simple, natural methods that align with how nature actually operates. Start with just one of these secrets this season and watch your soil transform. If you found this guide valuable, please subscribe to Smart Garden and share this with fellow gardeners ready to grow more with less effort. Together we're creating a community that understands the secret to abundance isn't hard work, it's working smarter by understanding and nurturing the incredible living system beneath our feet. Happy gardening.